Hi, I'm Barb.
And I'm Alex.
And we're Enchanterium. In today's video, we'll be making Mr. Tubon Clay, the drag queen from the anime One Piece. This video is made in collaboration with other wonderful doll artists as a part of June's Pride celebration. We will also be testing out some art supplies that Arteza has generously sent us. Let's get to it!
For this custom, we chose Deuce Gorgon, mostly because of his slim body and chin dimple. He needed some hair treatment, so I took my X-Acto knife and cut off the plastic. It was more difficult than I expected, but I managed to do it. Now that he's bald, let's remove his makeup with pure acetone using cotton pads. He's so cute without his original paint, and I'm going to ruin it. For this project, I'll be using the hobby knife set from Arteza. It contains a cutting mat, 3 different knives, and 13 knife blades. Everything well packed and looking sharp. I started cutting this cute face with one of the knives. I just cut through the cheeks, jawline and lips. My first plan was to make his mouth open, but I changed to a plan B, with his mouth closed. I took the glue gun and attached the jaw to the head but lower. This is the first time I used the famous epoxy sculpt. I mixed equal amounts of part A and B and started covering our victim's face. And this is the part when I disliked everything I made, so we're moving to plan C, which is actually plan A, an open mouth smile. I basically followed Delightful's Halloween tutorial when she made a Banshee doll. I used pins as a base inside the jaws and started to cover them with epoxy. Next step was to sculpt the teeth and place them in the right position. Then I added the tongue and sculpted individual teeth with a pin. For this project, I used the Arteza miniature brushes and acrylic color premium paints. I really enjoy the variety of colors that this set provides. I especially like the darker, semi-transparent colors. I used one of the brushes to give our scalp some colors. The paint needed protection, so I put on some matte varnish. I cut off the pins and smoothed it out with a Dremel tool. Previously, the glue gun didn't work so well, so I did the same thing as Delightful and made an armature with a wire. I made holes in his upper jaw and inserted the wire in. Then I added glue to close the holes and continued reshaping his face with epoxy sculpt. I smoothed it out with sandpaper and painted the whole face with an airbrush. Finally, we can move on to the face-up. I decided to make his makeup a little bit more drag-like than in anime, so he needs a lot of contouring with pastels. We know that he stands out from collaboration dolls, but we decided to make him anyway. I think he suits the theme perfectly because of his original and funny outfit and strong personality. In the show, he is a queen of Newcomer Land, the secret level of prison which is occupied by crossdressers and transgender people. He has the courage to be himself and express it to the world. Back to the face-up, I drew his eyes and eyebrows with a black pencil and made his irises blue. With the tiniest Arteza brush, I painted the whites of the eyes and detailed the irises. He needs a classic red lip painted with acrylics and the drag smoky eye made with pastels and pencils. For his signature green makeup, I used acrylics from Arteza. I modified it a little bit by doing a fade from dark green to lighter one. Then I added white spots here and there, some more pink blushing, and the face is done.
Bon Clay's shorts are basically a ball, so I tried a couple of methods. I've sewn one out of fabric and stuffed it, and it was floppy. But then I remembered we had some felt. I did a mock-up on some leftover colors, trying different panel sizes. When I had it down the way I wanted it, I cut out 6 dark and 6 bright blue panels and sewn them together. I started by sewing them in pairs, then joined my pairs together and so on, until I had a complete ball. I cut these out with one of the Arteza knives, but the felt dulled the blade quickly, which isn't surprising as felt is a pretty dense material. I covered the hole in the bottom with a circle of felt and cut out leg holes. I put the doll to the ball and eyeballed the position. Remember to always cut things smaller just in case. You can always make them bigger, but not always smaller. I added a pink belt with hot glue. I cut out a strip with notches on one side so it's easier to glue to a round edge of the ball. For his shirt, I decided to kind of fake the collar because we were running out of time. I cut out the pieces and made a glued hem. For some reason, I really like to use cotton buds to apply fabric glue. It helps me not to oversaturate the fabric with it so it doesn't seep to the other side. I also used glue to join the collars with front shirt piece. I joined the front pieces down the middle with a straight stitch. I applied fray check to all of the raw edges, so I didn't have to hem them or worry about fraying. After that dried, I put together the shirt by sewing the shoulders and side seams. Now for the fun stuff. I asked Arteza for their heat transfer vinyl sheets. Could it be applied to doll scale garments? I first ran a test on a cloth bag so as not to ruin Mr. Bon Clay's shirt. I found this mathematical joke online and it totally didn't set me back an evening in our schedule to cut it all out. Anyway, I put a cloth on top of my design and gave it a press according to the instructions for 10 seconds and it worked like a charm. I can flex my math knowledge every trip to the grocery store now. Back to the doll. I took a small piece of white vinyl and on a piece of regular paper I printed out a guide of the shape. This time, it didn't matter as it was symmetrical, but you have to cut your design mirrored. I put the vinyl shiny side up, my pattern on top, and I'm tracing around the lines. You don't have to cut all the way through, I would even advise you don't. The Arteza cutting mat was handy here, because I didn't have to lift my vinyl to turn it around to get to the curves. I could just flip everything around and I didn't risk anything shifting. I covered everything with a piece of cloth and pressed it with an iron, or here just pretended to because I forgot to turn my camera on the first time. After everything cools down, gently peel off the foil and ta-da! Mr. 2 also has a coat, but for the sake of the length of this video, here's just a shot of me sewing some pearls on it. It really just was a pain in the butt to sew.
Let's make his accessories starting with the swans. I made this wire armature and covered it with tinfoil. Then I sculpted the rest with epoxy sculpt. When the base was ready, I put on another layer of epoxy and smooth it with water. Some quick sanding, and let's move on to painting. My favorite acrylic paint from Arteza is gold. It has really great coverage and a beautiful color. I painted some details on the swans like beaks and eyes. I cut his wings from crafting foam and painted them white and really light purple. I also made some feather details with glossy varnish. I attached the wings together and glued the feathers on the top. I glued a magnet on a piece of cardboard and painted it white. This is going to be the base of the swans and the place where I glue the wings. Then I covered the whole cardboard with feathers. Time to work on his body. First of all, I sanded off Deuce's tattoo and then started modifying his joints. I wanted him to have a larger range of motion as he is a ballet dancer. To do this, I used Arteza knives, Dremel tool and sandpaper, and I gave this treatment to the hips, knees, elbows and ankles. Ankles. I also cut off his toes to make ballet shoes for him with epoxy sculpt. After the shoes were cured, I sanded them a little bit, painted them pink and added some ribbons. Bone clay has short hair, so the yarn will be perfect for this project. I cut the yarn in pieces, brushed it with a pet brush, straightened with a hair straightener and glued to the piece of foil to make the wefts. I glued the hair from the bottom of the head to the top and cut them short. I left the last few layers longer so it looks more natural. Time for the second magnet. I glue it directly to the shirt with a glue gun. Last details and he's done!
Here's how he turned out. We really enjoyed making this crazy character. It was a challenge to make crazy face modifications, but we did it!
Do you have a favorite drag queen? Tell us in the comments down below.
Happy Pride everyone! This video has been made in collaboration with a few other doll artists, and they all made drag queens too. Make sure you head to H Alley Crafts, Blank Space Dolls, Kyros Workshop, the Dolly Geek, and the Switch World channels for some more drag queen goodness. Thanks to the Arteza team for reaching out. We'll link to all the items we used in this video and to the Arteza website in the description below. If you'd like to get 10% off your purchase from Arteza, use the code Enchanterium1 at checkout. The code is valid until July 30th. And if you'd like to support our channel, please consider using our affiliate links below. We receive a small commission on the sales at no extra cost to you. Thanks! Make sure to follow us on Instagram for some sneak peeks and subscribe for future videos. Have an enchanted day, and we'll see you next time.